Haba, Toda Rabah, Shaul Dog here once again with another rant. I get a lot of Christians on my channel on YouTube who are diametrically opposed to what I'm teaching as far as Christianity and the practices of Christianity being totally and completely false and out of the realms of Babylon and pagan worship. I was once there. I spent over 30 years in the Christian church, many different denominations, and I was under that same deception. And I would stand up and I would fight to protect that religion. But the fact is, that religion is false. As a matter of fact, all religion is false. Okay? Every religion, you could find a man at the beginning of it. Every single religion. You can tell who started this denomination or who started the religion in itself. Now, there's a lot of deniers out there who say Constantine didn't start it. Well, actually, what we know today is Christianity. Constantine refined what started in Babylon, and that's what we have today. Christianity is basically decaffeinated Catholicism. You still hold on to the same Messiah, okay, which is Jesus. Excuse me, Father, I'm sorry for saying that name. But the fact is, okay, that's not the name of the Messiah. His name never was J-E-S-U-S. It never was. Never will be, okay? His name was Yeshua. The name J-E-S-U-S has absolutely no meaning whatsoever. Now, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, they put some kind of meaning onto it. But, of course, that's the Catholic Church. If you're going to trust what they say, then there's something definitely wrong with you, especially if you're a Christian who's actually starting to study your scriptures. But the fact is, Christianity started in Babylon, along with all of the other religions in the world. Babylon is where it all started, with Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Okay? It was all based in sun and moon worship, and it was all just a bunch of hooey. All just a bunch of paganism, a bunch of people doing whatever the heck they want to do. Now, see, I have a lot of people saying, Torah was nailed to the cross. We don't have to follow the Old Testament and everything else. First of all, nowhere in Scripture does it say Torah was abolished. Nowhere. Now, some people bastardize the writings of the Apostle Paul and say that, but I have a quote right here from him, okay? Right here from the Apostle Paul. Okay, so even if he did have the authority to usurp the Almighty Yah and his word, and even if he did have the authority to usurp Yeshua, the Messiah, these are still his words. Romans chapter 2, verse 12. Open up your scriptures. You got it? All who have sinned outside the framework of Torah will die outside the framework of Torah. And all who have sinned within the framework of Torah will be judged by the Torah. See, there's a death sentence for not going with the Torah. Now, see, the Torah means instruction. Torah means instruction. It does not mean law. Okay? It is the Jewish law, according to Christians, but actually it's a law for all mankind, as it says in Numbers 15, verses 15 and 16. It says, for this community there will be the same law for you as a foreigner living with you. This is a permanent regulation through all of your generations. The foreigner is to be treated the same way before Yahweh as yourselves. The same Torah and standard of judgment will apply both to you and the foreigner living with you. You, if you're a Gentile, you're a foreigner. Now, everybody runs around in the Christian church saying, oh, I worship God and I worship the Messiah. But the Messiah said himself in John 14:15, if you love me, you'll keep my commands. And if you really study Scripture, on Mount Sinai, Yeshua, the Messiah, actually gave the 10 most holy to Moshe. Okay? If you read the Scriptures and read them closely. Matthew 5, This is right here in the beginning of the Sermon of the Mount, okay? Right in the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 5, 6, 7, okay? Matthew 5, 17 through 18. I know, you always get this thrown in your face all the time, from people like me. But see, whenever Yah or Yeshua says something twice, especially in the same sentence, they mean it. And it's supposed to stick, okay? You get it? They want to drive the point home. It's very important when they repeat themselves. Very, very important. It's more important when they repeat themselves than when they just say it once in passing. But still, every word that comes out of Yah and Yeshua's mouth are very important, okay? Now, see, we're talking about Scripture, the same Scripture you claim to follow. All right? Matthew 5, verses 17 and 18. Do not think that I have come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete. Notice that he said, I have not come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have not come to abolish twice. I have not come to abolish it, but to complete. And how did he complete it? By walking it, by living it. Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth pass away, and heaven and earth are still here, not so much as a yud or stroke will pass from the Torah. Not until everything that must happen has happened. Well, that's talking about prophecy, until all prophecy is fulfilled. Well, you know what? All prophecy has not been fulfilled. Okay? Everything that must happen has happened. Not most of things are, 5 out of 7 prophecies, and then you can get rid of it. No, the Torah will last longer than the heavens and the earth. You see what I'm saying? Because the heaven and the earth will not pass away. It'll just be recreated. See? You see what I'm saying? So the fact is, Yeshua walked the Torah. He lived the Torah in a body, a flesh and blood body like what you and I have. He was susceptible to everything that we are. Everything. He was born without sin. But it doesn't mean that he did not have the potential to sin. He did have the potential to sin. But no, he followed what the Torah said. And it's another fact. They didn't even start writing the New Testament until 50 years after Yeshua was resurrected. Okay? It wasn't, it wasn't being compiled into a set of writings. It was still, you have the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 witnesses. They were writing it as they went. It was not put together into a New Testament until way after Yeshua was already gone, dead, buried, and then resurrected. So the scriptures that they talk about and the scriptures that they teach are Torah and the books of the prophets. Okay? Torah means instruction. It is what we are to do with our lives if we are to serve the Almighty Yah. Okay? The church has been lying to you. And if you're Jewish, okay, your rabbis have been lying to you because the Messiah did walk the planet. His name is Yeshua. Yeshua, if you're Jewish, you already know this, it means salvation. And all through Torah and Tanakh, it says salvation, salvation, salvation. And in Hebrew, when you're reading the Hebrew script, it says Yeshua, Yeshua, Yeshua. So you see what I'm saying? Satan's here to destroy you. He's here to kill you. He's here to take you away from the Father. He's here to take you away from your salvation. Okay? Following the Torah is not trying to earn salvation. Following the Torah is something I do because I love the Father. Following the Torah is something that I do because I want to walk in the same footsteps as the Messiah. That's why I follow what the Torah says. Now I have people saying, 613 laws. Oh, you can't follow those. Not all 613. Now, see, that's a rabbinical number anyway. But let's just say there are 613 in total. Okay? Let's just say that. Not all of them apply to you as the individual. There could be the 10 most holy and then say another 12 on top of that. And all of them lead to a better life. All of them. They take you away from the world system and bring you closer to the Father. It is a fact that Satan masquerades as an angel of light. And it is a fact that he's doing so right now in your place of worship. If you are celebrating things like Christmas and Easter and all that stuff, all these things that are not commanded in Scripture, then you have opened the door for Satan to come into your congregation. There's so much more to learn about what the Scripture says. And another thing, another objection that I always get is, well, the Torah is a Jewish thing. Nowhere in Scripture does it say it's only Jewish. Nowhere at all. Not one place will you find that the Torah is exclusively Jewish. The olive tree is the Torah. Yeshua, John 1, in the beginning was the Word. What was the Word in the beginning? It wasn't Brit Hadashah. It wasn't the New Testament. No, it was the Torah. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. And He was with God in the beginning. Who is that He that is the Word, which is the Torah? It's the Messiah, Yeshua. He is the walking Torah. Why is He the walking, living, breathing Torah? Because He lived it. He set the physical example for us to watch and for us to read in the Brit Hadashah of exactly how to follow the Torah. He had battles with the Pharisees because why? The Pharisees had their own law, the Jewish law. It's called Talmud. Okay? He fought against the Talmud. Why? Because the Talmud kept people from following what the Torah says. Not one Jew in Orthodox Judaism or any of the other rabbinical forms of Judaism, the other denominations, follows what the Torah says the way Yeshua taught it. They follow it the way the rabbis dictate to them. And they are under a yoke of slavery. Yeshua said, take my yoke, because my burden is light. Okay? Are you getting what I'm saying here? I care about you. I want to see you in the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem, if you're used to hearing that. Okay? I want to see you there. We have 1,000 years of study to do on this word. But it's not going to count the squat if you're not even there, if you're locked out. And it's not going to count the squat if you don't even know the first basic things about it while you're here in this life. Take care, folks, and I look forward to the next time.